When you're right, you're right. Welcome back to Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. This is episode 7 of this Let's Play series. Last time we met Will Powers, who is being tried for murder against the evil magistrate, played by an actor known as Jack Hammer, who was stabbed by a spear on set, presumably by Will Powers, but we're out to prove his innocence, so let's go to the Day 2 trial, see what exactly will occur. It's on October 18th, District Court. Oh, it's courtroom number 4 this time. They do go to different courtrooms. How many courtrooms are in this courthouse? Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. Your opening statement, please. The prosecution will show the court that at 2:30 p.m. on October 15, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer in Studio 1 of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. The evidence presented during the trial will all point to this fact. I see. Very well. I would like to move on to some testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. I actually brought them. We're not going to call them on a cellular telephone. Here's Detective Gumshoe. I'm sure there will be no holes in his story at all. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court. Yes, sir. I'll explain with the guide map here, sir. To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studio, see. Excuse me. This here is the employee area. The actors did a run-through of their action scenes during the morning here. This is the main gate to the studios. The security lady that works at the studios was here at 1 p.m. on that day. Past the security station, there is a gate. See? Past that are the studios. And here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder, where the body was found. Now on the day of the murder, October 15, there are only 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer. Was it him? Why do I comment on stuff like after you can't see it anymore? I was gonna point out his how do you even say it? Asymmetrical? When something's not symmetrical. Asymmetrical smile. The defendant, Will Powers, and a young woman, the production assistant. All the production staff were in the employee area until noon. Then after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Now jump ahead to later that day, 5 p.m., the production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was cancelled. Why? Tell me why. It's court proceeding. Time of death was 2:30 p.m. The samurai spear, in quotation marks and red font, found lodged in the victim's chest, was the murder weapon. That's the case in brief. Anyone like to hear that again? Should I listen to that whole thing again? I don't think I need to hear that again. I think I can probably remember that. So the murder weapon was a spear? How medieval. In Neo-Old Tokyo. Your Honor, this case is quite simple if you ask just one question. And that question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? Understood. Let's call the security officer to the stand. Miss Oldbag. Isn't her name actually Wendy Oldbag? Now that I think about it. My, aren't you a handsome fellow? I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered. Your name, please. Oh, dearie, no need for you to be embarrassed. Just call me Grandma. Your name, please. Seems Edgeworth has a bit of trouble getting his witnesses to say their names. Karma Joe pointed that out to me the other day, and I had never noticed that this is like a thing with Edgeworth. He'll try to get the witnesses to say their names, and they just won't. Wendy Oldbag, dearie. Yeah, it is Wendy. I'm not even going to try to read this. I might try to read it during the premiere. Objection. I object to the witness's talkativeness. Objection sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand. You may as well send her home, then. I was just getting to the good part, dearie. Perhaps we can get to the testimony. Now the witness was stationed at the main gate on the day of the murder, correct? Yes, I was. And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have had to pass by you. You know your stuff, dearie. You may begin your testimony. You sir is one hell of an old bag. Of the Old Bag clan. Imagine being born with the name Old Bag. That's probably a name. On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Poor old Hammer and the rest have been doing a run-through there since the morning. He got run through alright. I, well, had to run some errands that morning. Anyway, it was 1 when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5. Now the murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right? Interesting to me, because a certain man walked right by me at 2 p.m. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was headed towards the studio. You mean that picture that's clearly doesn't actually show Will Powers? Very well, let's begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? On the day of the... Objection! So up until that time, anyone who wanted to go in could go into the studio? Well, there wasn't a security guard at the gate, no. But the main gate was locked, dearie. You need an employee card key to get in. Right, the card key that I have. So what she's saying is no one who wasn't supposed to be there could get in. Was there anyone at the studios when you arrived at the guard station? Poor old Hammer and the rest have been doing a run-throughs since the morning. A run-through? Yeah, we ran through Jack Hammer with the samurai spear. They were working out a scene between the Steel Samurai and the Evil Magistrate. They got the basics figured out by noon, and they were to use the afternoon for practice. Rehearsal was supposed to start at 5. That's why poor old Hammer went to Studio 1 in the afternoon. So Powers was in his dressing room sleeping, when he was supposed to be practicing. Talk about a laid-back hero. If there was a run-through in the morning, why did you only get there after noon? I had some errands to run that morning. What kind of errands? Oh, you know... Answer the question. I love the way he slaps the table. The desk. Actually, I was watching poor Hammers and Powers. Observing, you know. Observing? Weren't you supposed to be at the guard station? Whippersnapper. I told you I locked the gate, didn't I? I did my job. Not sure your boss would see it that way. Anyway, I always watch Hammer's run-throughs, always. Never missed one in all my years. Wow, I want to see a Steel Samurai run-through too. You could quit being a spirit medium and take up guard duty. Not a bad idea. Anyway, it was 1 when I got to the guard station. Was it? You see the victim then? Did I see poor old Hammer? No. I'd already gone to the studio before I got back to the guard station. Tell us what happened next. I was at the main gate from then until 5. So you were watching there the whole time? No breaks? Not even a second? Of course. I'm professional, you know. I feel like... A, this is terrifying to look at right now. And B, that there's an inconsistency there. Are you criticizing how I do my job, Whippersnapper? You know what the worst is? Like, when you know there's something, like, in your throat, and you're trying to clear it, so you do the throat clear, But then nothing. Like, it doesn't catch anything. Like, how is there this tangible obstruction in my throat that going doesn't actually, like, at least feel it, like, tickling, moving around in there, flapping and fluttering in the breeze that I'm creating with my lungs. Drives me crazy. Just had to say that. No, it's just after seeing you eating those donuts in the guard station yesterday, I can watch the gate and eat donuts at the same time. Snipper whapper. Snipper whapper. Old windbag is losing it, Nick. Why don't you raise an objection? The witness was on duty through the afternoon, the whole time. Very well. What did you see? Now, the murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right? Did it? I think it did. Yeah. Well, like, none of this was really... Yeah, murder happened at 2:30. Nothing's really contradictory that I noticed yet. How do you know that? I have my ways. That overdressed young detective told me. I fed him some donuts and he talked and talked. He asked me that the detective isn't cut out for his job. Or gumshoe, getting ratted out by a security guard. Interesting to me because a certain man walked right by me at 2 p.m. Who, pray tell, would that be? You sure? Sure as spit. That was almost a bad word. Well, who was that man? Really, you should try not to get so excited at your age. You might strain something. He's like, how'd she know about my strain? Now, don't get your skivvies in a bunch. I'll tell you who it was. It was Powers. That man right there, and he was headed towards the studio. I'm pretty sure that's when I present my evidence. So you saw Mr. Powers? That's what I said, got wax in your ears, Sonny? This is your chance. Yeah, time to pull out the secret weapon. I'll say it again, it was him. They're being really heavy-handed about this. Objection! That might actually be the thumbnail. Every time I've been like, objection! I'm like, was trying to jockey for a thumbnail, but every other time I was like, I'm using this instead. Better. I like this better. Let me get this straight, old bag. I mean, Miss Old Bag. You've been saying since yesterday that you saw Miss Powers, correct? Wendy Old Bag. Windy Old Bag. I just got it. Anyways, moving on. Old windbag. Anyways. You're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? None other than the Steel Samurai, defender of Neo Old Tokyo. Miss Oldbag. This is the Mr. Powers that you saw? Of course. Didn't your mama teach you any sense, Sonny? Anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right? No, they can't. Well, I mean, I wonder. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai. He's like, what do you mean? I know that, I wasn't born yesterday. No one in this court is accusing you of that, Miss, Witness. She's having trouble calling her old bag, apparently. However, you do not have proof that the person in this photo is Mr. Will Powers, do you? Huh, nosy old man. Of course I have proof. What? Huh? Edgeworth is, like, just as surprised. Even Edgeworth is surprised, yeah. The prosecution would like to ask the, witness. Please make known all the information in your possession ahead of time. How was I to know? Everyone would be so nosy. You should be ashamed, all of you. Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me this isn't as good as evidence, pal. He didn't even give it a second look. Wow, old Windbag has even left Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof, then. The proof is where you're putting it. Or however the saying goes. I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. That morning, during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now look at that picture. You can see he's dragging his leg. Isn't it already, like, not the same leg? Anyways, that's how I knew it was Powers. Happy? So he had sprained his ankle. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. She's gotta be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. Never say anything I don't mean. Objection! Whippersnapper? I haven't even said anything yet. I'll have you know I'm not pointing fingers at anyone behind their backs. Everything I said is on the straight and narrow. The up and up. Youth to the... Oh, shut up. I'm so tired of the fast-talking old person trope. Believe me. I know it's a thing. Like the endless story. The endless old person story. Mr. Wright, please, for all our sakes, try not to upset the witness. Not that I even mind, like, having, like, someone who's seen way more of the world than me, like, tell me stories of stuff in my actual day-to-day. There's value in that. Because you can learn stuff. I'm just tired of this trope. That's what I'm trying to say. That morning, during the run-through of the action scene, reason why, like, I kind of backpedaled on that was... Do I even want to get into this? But, like... Without trying to drag everything down too much. When I was born, my dad was 55 years old. So... Every night at the supper table was, like, one of those conversations. But, like... He passed away... Being an old man, he passed away... like 15 years ago now? I mean, to have, like, one more of those conversations, you know. That's all I'm trying to say. Let's move swiftly forward. Who was present at the run-through? Well, let's see. There was Powers. He's the Steel Samurai. Then poor old Hammer, the evil magistrate. And me. What exactly were you doing? Observing. Yeah, you would. You voyeur, you. What about the assistant? Oh, she was off moving backdrops around and stuff. I love backdrops. Great wrestling move. So she didn't see the run-through then? I saw Powers trip and fall. When? Oh, yeah. Trip and fall. Yeah, and think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh. So Powers sprained his ankle. Helped make it better for him, of course. Did you kiss it? You helped make it better? I kissed it where it hurt. Yeah. I know the old, the old grandmother's secret remedies. Where's the assistant then? Oh, her? She's cleaning up backdrops, I think. Back body drop. She didn't even know about Powers' ankle. You may continue your testimony. I remember, like, back... Like, I've watched wrestling for years, and years, and years. Like, I was... I don't know how old I was when I started watching wrestling, like, regularly. I used to watch with my grandpa. Anyways, my point is, the first time I ever remember seeing backdrop, like, not in a wrestling connotation, I'm pretty sure it was in an R.L. Stine Goosebumps book. The one with the Phantom in it. I want to say, it's obviously not the Phantom of the Opera, but the one that was the Phantom of the Opera. I'm pretty sure they talk about backdrops, and I'm like, wrestling move? What was that called? Phantom of the Theater? Someone's gonna tell me what it... Please? Please tell me. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. He broke a prop. Sure did. His own samurai spear. Samurai spear, the murder weapon? Luckily I was there with my duct tape to fix it. It does fix everything. Let me tell you. This strikes me as a significant detail. Better write this down in the court record. Samurai spear updated in the court record. Okay, let me guess. The other samurai spear doesn't have the duct tape. Don't make me get the duct tape again. Hold it. Hold his sprained ankle, Wendy Oldbeck. Was Mr. Powers' ankle bare? Couldn't walk around. He went to his dressing room to rest up after lunch. Thus the nap. As I know when I sprained my ankle. Well, I mean, if you use RPG conventions, yeah. I sprained my ankle. I'm gonna go to sleep, wake up, cured. That listeriosis that I had, too, cured. From the catering earlier, all cured. Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked. Dragging his foot, okay. I think we've heard enough. Haven't we, Your Honor? Well, there is one thing that bothers me, which is... Where is the steel samurai costume now? Actually, well... We couldn't find it. We're looking, though. Anyway, that's not important. The witness did see the steel samurai, yes. And it's clear that the person in the steel samurai suit was Mr. Will Powers. Suppose that's right. Are you sure, Your Honor? Object! We keep talking possibilities, but we have to agree that this photo shows the steel samurai. Nowhere in this photo can we see Mr. Will Powers. The defense has a point. I also wonder if someone else not caught on camera could have killed Mr. Hammer. You have to consider that possibility also. Allow me to remove that doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please? No need to ask twice. The time of the poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m. True? The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers. I mean, there's something fashioned by the blade, but that's not duct tape. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. Solid evidence. Guilty. So if no one else went to the studio, it would have to be the steel samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m., true? Objection! How do you know that? Didn't I just explain? I gave donuts to the young detective. Then after some rubbish about it being a secret, pal, he told me everything. See, Detective Gumshoes shares his fellow officer's fondness for donuts. Well, who doesn't share a fondness for donuts? Unless you have, like, a gluten sensitivity. Are you absolutely sure? Oh, quite, Sonny. No one suspicious looking passed by at all. Nobody suspicious looking. Right. No one else went in there. What about before you got to the guard station? You mean before 1? Why, everyone was in the employee area before then. They locked the main gate so no one could get in. Not to mention, if they had, I would have seen them. Are you sure? Witness has answered the question. Anyone going into the studio had to pass by the witness. That's right, Sonny. Let him have it, edgy boy. Edgy boy? Old windbag sure has balls, or... You know what I mean, ovaries. Gonads. She has gonads. Old windbags have a way of skipping over important details after all. Or for that matter, entirely forgetting them. How convenient. Something for you to look forward to, perhaps. Okay, so here's my evidence. Okay, something to do with the studio thing, probably, this card key. The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers. No one else went in there. If they had, I would have seen them. So if the dressing room... Okay. The dressing room is, like, back a ways. No one else went in there. Break in the shaft has been mended with duct tape. It's dragging one leg. So that accident happened at... I might have to press her again. This is just not... Nothing's jumping out at me. Hold it. Hey, sure. Nobody suspected, right? No one else went in there. Even before 1. Everyone was in the employee area before them. And I locked the main gate. So no one could get in. I feel like this is gonna have something to do with the card key. Everyone was in the employee area before 1. Anyone going into the studio had to pass by the witness. Skipping over important details. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. Maybe I gotta point at this. If they had, I would have seen. I'm gonna try that because I have no idea what else it could be. It's this or this, I feel. I will save it. I will give the game a save. We can circle all the way back to 1. We're on episode 7. I think I can save a number 1. I didn't mean to hold it. Try this again. What am I trying to do? Present. Okay, nothing. If I had, I would have seen them. No one else went in there. Or is it that, like... I mean, that was the time of his death. What am I missing? No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. I got nothing. Okay, I gotta pay more attention to all this again. Because there's something I'm overlooking. And I have no idea what. Gave donuts to Gumshoe. Does it show the picture? Is it this? Okay. Hold on. Look at this photograph one more time. This photo was taken by the camera at the gate for the studios, correct? Yes, sirree, Sonny. So whenever anyone passed by here, it automatically takes a picture? And here I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground. Right, anyway. It's also true that the computer in the guard station records all security cam data. Oh, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, we might have an opening. That very computer printed out this photo. Note that on the back of the photo, printed are the words, October 15, 2 p.m., photo number 2. Even I know that means it was taken at 2 p.m. on October the 15th, really, Sonny. Actually, I knew that too. The issue here is the bit at the end where it says, photo 2. Photo 2? The computer only held data for one photo that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo 1 if it was the only photo? Yeah, we did it. Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that's what I want to ask the witness. The evidence shows that not one but 2 people went to the studio that day. That there is only data for one of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Only someone with access, the security lady herself. You watch your mouth, whippersnapper. The only person I saw that day was Will Powers. The camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by. Well, yes, that's what it would seem to mean. Can the witness explain this to the court? I don't understand these newfangled computer things. Do you understand numbers? Huh? Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either. Some help you are. You're a whippersnapper, too. Whippersnapper? Something the matter, Miss Oldbeck? Ah, that's right. I just remembered something. Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate. Someone other than the Steel Samurai. Well, yes, I suppose you could put it that way. I see. Your testimony, please. Even the judge is like, it's all back. Let me tell you. Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job. I go through the photos recorded on the security computer and check them, all 2 of them. Throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. Come to think of it now, I remember throwing out 1 photo that day. Miss Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this. Well, of course, Sonny, I've only just remembered it. Right, anyway, Mr. Wright, please begin the cross-examination. Let's say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. The other person. Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. Oh, I gotta... Another job. That's right. I check all the people that pass by the main gate. I look closely at every one of the photos that the security camera takes. You back up all the security camera data? Well, they keep telling me to, yes. But those computers are just so frustrating. I hear you. Hold it. How exactly do you determine what isn't suspicious looking? Oh, you can tell by looking at their faces, for the most part. For the most part. This is a murder trial, Miss Oldbag. Well, I didn't touch that suspicious-looking Will Powers' photo, did I? I think she's missing the point. Come to think of it now, I remember throwing out 1 photo that day. Well, who in the heck was in that photo you erased? A fanboy. Fanboy. Steel Samurai fanboys. Real freaks, if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh knows where. They're always hanging about. 1 was there that day. Wait a second. Didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your words. Well, you must know. There's a drain that goes into the employee area. Oh. The grate has been loose for a while. Leads outside, and well, that's where they come in. They come in through the drain. I told you there were freaks. Oh, and... They're kids. Children. Whippersnappers. Kids? So on the photo that you erased, it was a boy. Probably 2nd or 3rd grade. What? Order. Let me get this straight. You saw 2 people pass by the gate on their way to the studios that day. One was a Steel Samurai dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked to be in 2nd or 3rd grade. Oh yes. Well, we his type there every day. Can't stop him. Can't catch him. Boy in 2nd or 3rd grade? Assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for a young boy to wield the samurai spear. Impossible, I would think. It's quite heavy. Right, as I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data. Nick, what's going on? I mean, the boy was there, that makes him a suspect. Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him. This court will take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and prosecution to consider this new information, and no forgetting vital information this time. October 18th. Defendant lobby number 3. Number 3. Mr. Powers. Yes? Tell me straight. Were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio. I didn't go to the studio. I was sleeping. Honest. So who was the Steel Samurai in that security photo? How should I know? Steel Samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really. You should take better care of that stuff. Couldn't imagine anyone would want to steal a Steel Samurai costume. So where does this leave me? Doesn't look good. Sniff. You're the only likely suspect right now. Nick, what are we gonna do? First we play for more time. We'll start targeting someone else that could conceivably have done this. Right. And it'll take them so long to shoot us down that we can get another day. Right, but if we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot. You don't sound very optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all, actually. Hey, Nick. It's time. Okay, let's go. Sigh. What does that mean? Please don't sigh like that. Sniff. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present the prosecution's thought on this matter? Prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who went to the studios was a boy of roughly 10 years of age. In 2nd or 3rd grade? Roughly 10? That's pretty rough. Anyway. The photo we do have may not be hard evidence. I'm just gonna yawn, okay? It's like 2 here, don't mind me. But there's still no one else that could have committed this crime. Call for a verdict of guilty for the defendant, Mr. Will Powers. Very well, Mr. Wright, your thoughts? The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person who could have committed this crime. And there's 7. Interesting. Let us hear who you have in mind. However, be aware that this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized. Right, great. As if the stakes weren't high enough. So who is the person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed murder? I mean... Penny. I don't think it was the security lady. I'm gonna say the schoolboy. And then the assistant girl. Boy. Why isn't anyone saying anything? Are you seriously suggesting the boy did it, Mr. Wright? Grade school boy kills veteran action star with spear. For one thing, the murder weapon was with the Steel Samurai. Would you care to explain just how the boy would have obtained it from him? Maybe that was a dumb move on my part. Maybe? Maybe. How about absolutely, Nick? Mr. Wright, I'm afraid I have to penalize you as I warned. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. One more chance. Okay, well, I'm gonna say it's the assistant girl, though. It was the assistant. Steel Samurai costume was in his dressing room. She stole it, and in doing so, she became the Steel Samurai. You're saying the Steel Samurai in the picture is really the assistant? That's correct, Your Honor. You're serious. You've got guts, Mr. Wright. Remember the photo? Wasn't Steel Samurai a little lame? He was dragging his foot. Uh-oh, bad feeling time. Remember the testimony concerning Powers' injury? Powers and poor Hammer at the run-through. Oh, and me. What about the assistant? Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle. Assistant knew nothing of Mr. Powers' injury. She could look at the Steel Samurai... She could look the Steel Samurai look with the costume. She couldn't walk the Steel Samurai walk, she would have limped. She wouldn't have limped. Kinda takes the legs out from under that case. Good, 2 out of 3 chances. Get them both wrong. Well, then it's the only other person I can choose, then. The other person that I can choose. It was Wendy Oldbag. Who? Steel Samurai is dragging his leg in this picture. That means whoever was in the suit knew about that morning's injury. Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run through. There's only one other person, other than Powers and Hammer, who knew about the injury. The security lady. Whippersnapper. I don't think it's her either, though. Order. Is this true, Oldbag? Oldbag, that's Miss Oldbag to you. Miss Oldbag was standing near... Oh my god. Miss Oldbag was standing guard alone at the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal the samurai costume. Then slipped on to Studio 1, the scene of the murder. Why would she go through the trouble of wearing the steel samurai costume? Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would hide her picture. If she was in this costume, she could point the finger at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright. Why would she kill Jack Hammer, though? She loves him. Right, Sherlock Holmes too, baby. That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't he usually jump up with an objection and some new damning evidence? Well, Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on this matter? The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time. What? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, so y'all think I did it, is that it? Edgy boy, don't just sit there, do something. What's my move? Maybe now's my chance to take this the whole way. Press further. Very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case. Can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbag's action on the day. But why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammer? Forget that Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive, too. Indeed. That did it. Now Windbag is one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope. Wait just a minute. What about the other person who went to the studio? The boy. The one whose photo I erased. It's only a grade schooler, though, as you said. Second or third grade, was it? That doesn't matter. When I was that age, I could pin my old man in 10 seconds, tops. Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? That boy is not the killer. What? How can you be so sure? Or is it being nice to kids and mean to your elders' day? I have proof. Proof? Indeed, then let us see the proof, Mr. Wright. You have proof that shows the boy could not have committed this murder? Which one do I show? Like, he's either too small to wield the spear, or he wouldn't fit in the costume. Your Honor, the murder weapon was the game's just like, yeah, you're fine. Murder weapon was the samurai spear. That very spear is shown here in this photo. Okay, I think it probably would have given it to me for either one in this case. How could the boy have taken the spear? It's impossible. I see. Will the witness care to comment on this? Windbag. Speechless. There's got to be a first. Very well. This court will suspend proceedings on the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Mrs. Windy... what was her name? Something Oldbag, Your Honor. Then the prosecution will look further into this old bag before we continue. That is all. This court is adjourned. Wait a second. I'm not just gonna sit here while you... I was waiting for it to do the perpetual scroll. I'm not just gonna sit here while you run off barking up the wrong tree. Me. I'm talking. Oh great. Stop the presses. The windbag wants to talk. Miss Oldbag, what's this all about? Have you omitted something from your testimony? Actually, if you must know. Something I was told not to talk about. Not to talk about? By whom? You mean it wasn't Edgeworth this time? Well, testify. Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people at the studio that day, the murder. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? So they told me to just pretend they hadn't been at the studios that day. But if you're gonna go accusing me, I'm not letting them get away scot-free. Miss Oldbag, this is crucial information. Why'd you keep this from the court until now? Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap, and I always do what I'm told. No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the old bag. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Global Studios want me to keep quiet about something. What do I have to... What am I even pressing right now? So you're told not to talk? That's right, but the studio and the TV bigwigs, no less. Why didn't I hear about this? Don't be too hard on yourself, Sonny. We were all in on it. There were some other people at the studios on the day of the murder. Ooh! Well, the director, the producer... The director? Should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run-through of their action scene without a director? Of course. Yes, well, I was surprised no one asked about it. So where were these people? Director was in the employee area all morning for the run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime and had a meeting after that. Where? In the Studio 2 trailer? Studio 2? There was a Studio 2. Well, if you look at the guide map, here it is. You go through the gate and all the way to the left. The path where the monkey's head was fallen over. Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination? I think I already asked all my questions, but... What do you mean? Said they had nothing to do with it, see. Miss Oldbag, this is a trial for murder. I know that's silly. Still, they are pretty convincing about having nothing to do with it. And they gave me a little bonus on the side. You had your bonus and you still talked. I think I've asked all the questions I have to ask. Continue. Oh, was that actually? May as well get all the flavor text. Them? Who are these people? Well, the director and producer. Oh, yeah, okay. I get it now. Take a break. You have learned that there were others on Global Studios on the day in question. The director and producer and some bigwigs were all present. Yet as we stand here, they have not been questioned. I hold that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers. Court acknowledges the defense's point. Prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Miss Oldbach, and more information about these other people we have just been told of. I understand, Your Honor. Since the day's proceeding in the trial of Mr. Will Powers, that is all. This court is adjourned. This court proceeding has been adjourned. Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I was right to ask you to defend me. Ah, really? It's nothing. Or should I... I'll be going down to the studios to do some more investigating. You have to find out more about this director and producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial as witnesses for certain. Now's my chance to get material for the cross-examination. So, Nick. Have we figured out just who it was in the Steel Samurai costume? Could it really have been old Windbag? What do you think, Mr. Powers? I don't think it was her, really. Neither do I, Nick. Yeah, I know. Look, I was just buying time back there. Someone had to be the bad guy for a bit to take the pressure off Mr. Powers. Poor old Windbag, I feel kind of sorry for her. She wasn't winning any points in there, with or without my accusation. Okay, let's get down to the studios. Right, we'll be back to visit you soon. Thanks, guys. Sniff. It's probably a checkpoint, yeah. Strategically placed checkpoint. Yes. We'll save in part 2. So that'll be it for part 7 of Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Do tune in next time for part 8. Seeing as that's the next part, numerically, that's the one I recommend you watch next when it is released. So until then, don't forget the lard and we'll get to the bottom of